Welcome back. In today's lesson, we're going to be writing a discussion essay. Okay, let's have a look at a question. Some people think that children should learn about history at school. Others, however, believe that other subjects are more relevant to children's lives today. Discuss both these views and give your own opinion. Right, okay, this is a very typical discussion question. We're given a statement which gives you two different viewpoints, and then we're asked to discuss both of these views and then to give our own opinion. So in this particular question, we have two different viewpoints. Viewpoint one is that some people think that children should learn about history at school, and viewpoint two is that others believe that other subjects are more relevant to children's lives today. Now, we need to write about both of these viewpoints, and we also need to give our own opinion. So when we write our own opinion, we either agree with one of the different viewpoints or we introduce a whole new viewpoint. Okay, I'm going to show you a structure that we can use when it comes to writing one of these essays. Okay, we're going to use the simplest structure, which is simply to agree with either viewpoint one or viewpoint two. So imagine in this question, we want to agree with viewpoint one. We're going to have our introduction, then in body paragraph one, we're going to talk about viewpoint two, so the viewpoint that we don't agree with. Then in body paragraph two, we're going to talk about viewpoint one, which is the viewpoint that we do agree with, and then we're going to have the conclusion. So, as always, in our introduction, we're going to introduce the topic and respond to the question. And in this case, when we respond to the question, we're going to show to the examiner that we agree with viewpoint one. Okay, and we're going to see how we do that a little bit later. Then in body paragraph one, when we talk about viewpoint two, so the viewpoint we don't agree with, we're going to have a topic sentence, the development, and possibly a link as well. Then in body paragraph two, we talk about the viewpoint that we do agree with, and we're going to have the topic sentence, the development, and also a link. Now, if you've got more time or you need to write more to make sure that your essay is over 250 words, you might want to include another reason why you agree with viewpoint two. So you'd have the topic sentence for that reason, the development, and also possibly a link for the second reason as well. However, you don't necessarily need to do this. As long as you have one reason why you agree with viewpoint one, then that's enough. Finally, in the conclusion, we're going to restate our position. So we're going to state again that we agree with viewpoint one, and then we're going to summarize our ideas. Okay, let's have a look at a question. Some people think that children should learn about history at school. Others, however, believe that other subjects are more relevant to children's lives today. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do is to underline the key words. So these are words that help us to understand the question. In this case, we're going to underline words like children, history at school, other subjects, so other subjects that are more relevant to children's lives. Okay, now these are key words that we know help us to answer the question and to make sure that we're fully answering the question in our essays. Now, after we've underlined the key words, we're going to brainstorm ideas. And we're going to brainstorm ideas related to the different viewpoints. So one of the viewpoints is that all children should learn about history. Okay, well, why should all children learn about history? Well, children learn useful knowledge when they study history. So, for example, they learn about why events happen, like wars, financial crisis, or scientific discoveries. Okay, so that's a reason to support viewpoint one. What about for viewpoint two, which is saying that other subjects are more relevant? Okay, well, what about other subjects like IT, so information technology? An IT class teaches you very useful skills, like how to use a PowerPoint slide, or how to code, or for example, how to research information on the web. So these are very useful skills. Does history really teach us useful skills? Well, we can say maybe it doesn't. Maybe it simply teaches us facts and figures and dates, things that we don't necessarily find useful. Okay, right, so with this information, let's make our plan. We're going to agree with viewpoint 1. So we're going to agree with the idea that children should learn history at school. Now remember, in the first paragraph we talk about the viewpoint we don't agree with. So we're going to start with viewpoint 2, the idea that other subjects teach useful skills, which history doesn't. And then afterwards, in our second body paragraph, we're going to look at viewpoint 1 and we're going to say, well, yes, history doesn't necessarily teach useful skills, but it does teach useful knowledge. Okay, let's put our plan into practice. We're going to start with the introduction, where we introduce the topic and respond to the question. So first, introducing the topic. People have different views on whether history should be taught at school. Okay, very simple. And now we respond to the question. So in this case, we want to make it clear that we agree with viewpoint 1. While other subjects may teach skills which are particularly relevant to children's lives, I would argue that history still teaches children useful knowledge and should therefore be taught in all schools. Okay, so we've responded to the question and we've made it very clear that we agree with viewpoint 1. Okay, let's move on to our body paragraph. So remember, our first body paragraph is talking about the viewpoint that we don't agree with. So in this case, it's viewpoint 2, that other subjects teach useful skills. And as always, we're going to have our topic sentence, our development, and our link. So we start with a topic sentence which makes it very clear to the examiner what they're going to read about in this sentence, in this paragraph. Those that feel that history should be replaced point out the relevance of other subjects, such as information technology. Now, do you see at the beginning, I've got the phrase, those that feel that history should be replaced. So what I'm doing there is I'm distancing myself from that opinion. I'm saying this opinion exists and there are people that believe that opinion, but I'm distancing myself from it. I'm not saying that I believe in that opinion. I can talk about it, but I don't believe in it. Then we move on to the development. When children have information technology classes, they learn valuable skills that can help them in their daily lives, such as how to use web resources or to research school topics, or use PowerPoint for class presentations. Okay, finally we're going to have the link. In contrast, history, they argue, does not teach valuable skills, only facts and dates to be remembered. Okay, so this body paragraph is explaining viewpoint 2, that other subjects are more relevant to children's lives. History is just about facts and dates and past events. Okay, however, we believe that history should be taught in schools, and that's why we're going to next talk about viewpoint 1, and we're going to say that history teaches useful knowledge. So we're going to have the topic sentence, development, and link. Starting with the topic sentence, we're going to say, however, I would argue that children should learn about history as it teaches them knowledge about how conditions and circumstances have changed human behavior, events, and trends. Okay, so here we've started, however, I would argue that, and that means, or makes it very clear to the examiner that this is the viewpoint that you agree with. We move on to the development. History serves as a vast repository of knowledge about how and why events come to be. This is why economists look at past business cycles to predict financial crisis, and politicians look at the decisions of previous leaders to determine their plan of action. Okay, finally, the link. Hence, history teaches children the importance of determining the specific conditions and circumstances that led to certain events so that they may make more informed decisions. Okay, so a very strong paragraph showing why I believe in viewpoint 2. Why I believe in viewpoint 1. And then finally the conclusion, where we restate our position and summarize the ideas. And remember, our conclusion is going to be short, just 1, up to 4 sentences, but usually one sentence is enough. So we're going to say this. In conclusion, while it is true that other subjects teach relevant skills to children, I would argue that all children should learn about history, as this is a valuable source of knowledge. Okay, so we've restated our position. We've said, I agree with viewpoint 1, because we're saying I would argue that all children should learn about history, and then we summarize the ideas. So in this sentence, we mention how other subjects teach relevant skills to children, and we mention how history is a valuable source of knowledge. Right, next thing is to go and write some discussion questions of your own. And a good idea is actually to write the discussion question from today's lesson and then compare your answer with the answer from this video. Best of luck with your studies, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye then.